Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be working on a 1973 MG midget wiper motor mechanism. So far I've completely disassembled it and cleaned most of the parts. There's still a couple of things I've got to clean up, but practically all the main bits are cleaned up. So we'll start with the main housing that holds all the kind of gears and stuff, and then we'll work onto the motor side. So we'll start by putting the electrical connectors back in, which is quite easy. It's just sort of a slot system. As long as you get it in right perfectly like that, it should just slot straight in. Should. There we go. Just like that. Now we'll move on to putting the electrical kind of circuit board back in, is what I would call it, but yeah, that's quite easy. 3 screws, 1, 2 and 3, and make sure your wires run through the little gap that's down here. Don't tighten them all the way down until you've got all of them in. Just that way you can line all the screws up properly and not have some cross thread. Alright, tighten them up now. Just like that. Should be practically like that and you'll be alright. Now we'll move on to connecting these back into here. So your blue one goes to the furthest point, furthest point away, like that. Then you run your wire down and nice and neatly. And then this one goes to the nearest point towards the actual electrical board, like that. Now what we'll do is we'll get some grease, and we'll grease up the gear in there. Just get a paint. My tip is get a paintbrush like this so you can get all the way down in there and brush it on the actual gear itself, not just around it. And then what you can do is rotate it with the paintbrush with grease still on it, and you get grease all around it. Don't add too much, as this will make the mechanism quite tight. Just enough to where it's all covered. Oh, can of WD falls over. Right. Now we'll move on to putting the arm back on. That's all been cleaned up and degreased, ready to go back in. So we'll start with, obviously you've got 2 washers. You have your big washer that sits on here. Make sure you put a little bit of grease on here, because obviously that's another moving part, so dab a little bit of grease in there with your paintbrush. And then what you want to do is put that over the top, like that, so it slots in, and it all should move lovely and freely, like that. Then you put your small washer on there, just like there, and then a little clip which has gone missing. Classic. Alright. I have no clue where that has gone, guys. I'll put you back on when I have found where it has gone. Okay guys, I am back. I have found it. It was sitting literally right over here and I just couldn't see it. Yes, that. It's sort of a C-clip, I would call it. And you put that, grab your assembly, that sits on top of the washer there. You may need a pair of pliers to help you with this. And what I like to do is put my pliers over this end and just squash it on like that. There we go. That is that back together. And next what we want to do is grab your sort of main, I don't know what you'd call it, sort of the actual line it would run to, like this. Grab this, and hopefully yours should be cleaned, mine isn't. So what we'll do is we'll just wipe the end of this off. It's still got a little bit of grease left on it, so we'll just wipe that off. And that's that. And what you want to do is get this, the end cap, slide it over the end of this, all the way down to there. It's the end of here. And then what you want to do is make sure that doesn't touch the ground. What you want to do, lift this up, lift your arm up, slide that down, lift your arm up, make sure the cable doesn't turn sideways. Oh no, I made a mistake, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. I had to cut that due to the fact I was getting really annoyed that I messed up. So, right, we're back. So what I did was, I made the mistake of putting this arm on first before I inserted the actual mechanism bit here. So what we want to do is lift that arm off. It should be quite easy because you've greased it up. Also be careful of your washers. You've got your one big one that sits at the bottom, make sure that stays on. This little one that sits on the top of here. That doesn't matter if that goes on after. So what you want to do is make sure this hole is facing upwards, so that when you insert this goes into there, slots in like that, and your arm goes on like that. Pretty straightforward, but somehow I managed to mess it up. Anyway, we're back, and what we'll do, still that little C-clip again, and like I said, just get a pair of pliers on either end, like that, and just pop it in like that. Pop it into place, and that is that back together. Now what we want to do is reinstall this little bit that sits up the end of it here. Could be a little pain to fit, but what you want to do is wriggle it. There we go. That should just slot into place. There we go, like that. So then what we want to do is, obviously this will get painted, well, removed all the rust and painted later, but this is just to show the assembly. And you want to put your motor back in here, just like that, and then reinsert that while lining up these two holes with the edges here. It's going to be a tight to get it on, but as long as you line them up, hand tighten them in first so you don't cross thread them. This could be a little hard if your hands are greasy like mine are, but you should be okay. And get your wrench on them. and tighten them up. Don't tighten them all the way straight away because you obviously got 2 to do. So tighten them so that they're not going to fall out. And then do them both, once they're sort of both slightly tight, tighten them both up so that everything goes on straight and doesn't warp anywhere or cross thread them or anything bad like that. So just like that. It's quite loose still. And we start with this one. Oh, this is really a big pain if your hands are greasy like mine are. Will really tie your arm out. There we go. They're practically in. Now I just need to go and tighten them up. So, there we go. Just like that. Sorry guys. There we go, just like that. And that's practically the main assembly put back together. I'll put you on in a minute once I've finished doing the rest of it. Alright guys, we are now back. That took a little while because I had to find a few other little bits and sort something out. But here, we're now back. So, as you would have seen, we've rebuilt most of it now. Now it's just sort of reassembling odd bits now. So this screw, which I think is for refilling all the grease and stuff, I'm not too sure on that one. That's just there. I have no clue what it does. That just screws in here, all the way till tight's tight. There we go. See them? Then we put the cover back on. Just like that. You have 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And obviously you tighten them down, all the way down. And then you've got your metal tubing that slides over. And you've got your metal tubing that slides over here and over here. Just like that. Then it is done. And that's how you rebuild your wiper motor mechanism. I'm not finished yet, hence why the screws are still left loose. But that's how you rebuild it. And thank you guys for watching, and there'll be more coming soon. Cheers.